What if I told you that the biggest difference between people who stay stuck financially and people who build real wealth has almost nothing to do with how hard they work, and almost everything to do with how they think about money? Most people assume wealth is something reserved for the lucky, the highly educated, or those who start with a lot of advantages. They believe that if they just work more hours, get a better job, or wait long enough for a promotion, then eventually, financial freedom will arrive. But that belief is exactly where the problem begins, because in reality, two people can walk the same streets, live in the same economy, earn the same salary, and still end up in completely different financial worlds. One person feels constantly stressed about bills, debt, and the next paycheck. The other quietly builds savings, invests consistently, and slowly creates financial freedom that seems almost invisible at first but becomes undeniable over time. So, what creates that gap? It is not intelligence, it is not talent, it is not even opportunity in most cases. It is the internal framework they use to interpret money itself. Think about this for a moment. Every single financial decision you make starts as a thought. Should I buy this? Should I save this? Should I invest this? Should I wait? Should I take a risk? Those thoughts are shaped by something deeper than numbers in a bank account. They are shaped by your mindset about money. And here is where things get interesting. Most people are not actually taught how to think about money. They are only taught how to earn it and spend it. School systems teach how to get a job, not how to build wealth. Society often encourages consumption before education. Family advice is usually focused on safety, not growth. So people grow up repeating financial patterns without ever questioning them. This is why someone can earn a high income and still live paycheck to paycheck. And it is also why someone with a modest income can quietly build wealth over time, because wealth is not created at the moment you receive money. Wealth is created in the moments after, when you decide what that money should do next. Should it disappear into expenses, or should it be directed towards something that grows? Should it be used for short-term comfort, or long-term freedom? Should it build your future, or just maintain your present? The answers to those questions define your financial future far more than the size of your paycheck ever will. In this video, we are going to break down what the wealth mindset actually looks like in practice, not in theory, not in motivational quotes, but in real thinking patterns that separate people who stay stuck from people who eventually become financially independent. And once you understand this shift, you will start noticing something powerful. Money does not just respond to effort, it responds to perspective. Most people believe wealth is simply the result of earning more money. They assume that if they increase their income, everything else will automatically fall into place. So they focus all their energy on getting a better job, asking for a raise, or working extra hours. While earning more is important, this belief misses a much deeper issue that quietly controls financial outcomes. The real problem is that most people are trained to think about money in a reactive way instead of a strategic way. They see money as something that arrives, gets spent, and then disappears until the next paycheck. This creates a cycle where financial life is always starting over each month instead of building forward road over time. In this cycle, every financial decision becomes emotional instead of intentional. When money comes in, the first instinct is to satisfy immediate needs or desires. When money runs low, the focus shifts to stress and survival. There is very little space for planning, structuring, or building long-term systems. Over time, this pattern creates a feeling of being stuck, even when income increases. Another major misunderstanding is that people confuse activity with progress. They believe that working harder automatically leads to financial growth, so they take on more shifts, more responsibilities, or more jobs, expecting that effort alone will eventually solve everything. But effort without direction often leads to exhaustion rather than wealth. What most people do not realize is that wealth is not built in the earning phase alone. It is built in the allocation phase. In other words, what you do with your money after you earn it matters just as much, if not more, than how you earn it. Yet this is the part almost no one is taught. Instead of learning how to allocate money into assets, investments, or systems, most people learn how to allocate money into consumption, new phones, upgraded lifestyles, subscriptions, convenience spending, and short-term rewards slowly absorb most increases in income. This is why even significant salary growth often does not change long-term financial stability. There is also a psychological trap involved. When people finally earn more money, they feel they deserve to enjoy it immediately. This creates what is known as lifestyle expansion. Every increase in income is matched by an increase in spending, leaving the financial situation almost unchanged despite higher earnings. Over time, this creates frustration. People begin to believe that wealth is impossible for them, or that they are simply not good with money. But in reality, the issue is not discipline alone. It is the absence of a structured way of thinking about money, without a clear mindset framework. Financial decisions are made case by case, not as part of a long-term plan. And when decisions are inconsistent, results are inconsistent. This is why so many people feel like they are working hard but still not moving forward. They are participating in the economy but not building within it. The wealth mindset begins by recognizing this problem clearly. It is the understanding that earning money is only one part of the equation, and often not the part that determines long-term wealth. The wealth mindset is a way of thinking where money is treated as a tool for growth instead of just a tool for consumption. There are three major shifts in the wealth mindset. First, wealthy people think in assets, not expenses. An expense is something that takes money out of your pocket and never returns it. Food, rent, entertainment, these are necessary, but they do not grow your wealth. An asset is something that puts money back into your pocket over time. Investments, businesses, digital products, and income-generating skills. The wealthy try to increase assets before lifestyle. Second, wealthy people think long-term instead of short-term. Most people ask, what can I afford today? Wealthy people ask, what will this decision do to my life in 10 years? That simple shift changes everything from spending habits to investment choices. Third, wealthy people focus on leverage. Leverage means using systems, money, or skills to multiply results without increasing effort linearly. For example, 1 hour spent learning a high-income skill can generate income for years. 1 investment can grow while you sleep. 1 business system can scale beyond personal effort. The wealth mindset is not about working harder forever. It is about building systems that work for you. Let's take a simple real-world example. Imagine 2 individuals, A and B, who both earn the same monthly salary. Person A spends most of their income on lifestyle upgrades, a better phone, a better car, and more comfort. Every time income increases, person B does something different. They live below their means and start building assets early. They invest in index funds, learn a digital skill, and slowly start building small income streams. Fast forward 10 years. Person is still working the same job, maybe earning a bit more, but still dependent on salary. Person B now has investments that generate passive income, skills that command higher pay, and maybe even a small business running in the background. Nothing magical happened. The difference was not income. It was decisions repeated over time. Even billionaires operate on this principle. Many wealthy individuals do not rely only on salaries or direct spending of cash. They focus on owning assets that grow and generate more capital over time. This is why wealth often looks invisible at first. It builds quietly before it becomes obvious. The wealth mindset ultimately comes down to one simple but uncomfortable truth. Your financial future is not shaped by how much you know about money, but by how consistently you apply what you understand. Most people already know many basic financial ideas. They know they should save money. They know they should avoid unnecessary debt. They know investing is important, yet knowing is not the problem. Execution is where everything breaks down. The wealth mindset is the bridge between knowledge and action. It removes emotional decision-making and replaces it with structured thinking. Instead of reacting to money situations, you begin responding with intention. One of the most important lessons from this mindset is that small decisions matter more than big intentions. People often wait for a perfect moment to start investing, saving, or building assets. They believe they will act when they earn more, have less expenses, or feel more secure. But wealth rarely comes from perfect timing. It comes from imperfect consistency. Even small actions, repeated over long periods, create compounding effects. A small amount invested regularly becomes significant over time. A small skill learned and applied consistently becomes a major income advantage. A small habit of saving before spending slowly reshapes financial behavior. The second major lesson is that discipline is not about restriction. It is about direction. The goal is not to stop enjoying life. The goal is to ensure that enjoyment Today does not eliminate freedom tomorrow. This means learning how to balance lifestyle and growth. Wealthy thinking does not reject spending, it prioritizes it. It teaches you to decide consciously where your money goes instead of letting habits decide for you. The third lesson is that financial freedom is not an event, it is a process. Many people imagine wealth as a destination where suddenly everything becomes easy. In reality, it is built step by step through repeated behavior that gradually changes your financial structure. When you adopt the wealth mindset, you stop asking only how to earn more money in the present. You start asking how to build a system where money continues to grow even when you are not actively working for every unit of it. This shift is subtle but powerful. It changes how you view time, effort, and opportunity. It turns money from something you chase into something you manage strategically. Once this mindset becomes stable, financial decisions become clearer. You are no longer pulled in every direction by short-term desires or pressure. Instead, you operate with a long-term framework that filters every decision through one question: does this move me closer to freedom or further away from it? That question alone is enough to reshape your entire financial life over time. Call to action if you want to understand how money actually works beyond the surface level, and learn how wealthy people think about building long-term financial freedom. Then subscribe to The Geeky Investor, because on this channel, we break down money, investing, and wealth in the simplest way possible so you can actually use it in real life. Subscribe to The Geeky Investor and start building your wealth mindset today.